This is your Wish Upon a Star Lunar Horoscope for Saturday, July 31st, 2021. Now you notice in July we have one of the quarter moons, a waning half moon on the 1st, and then one on the 31st. So there's sort of, there's only one full moon and one new moon, but there's two of these last quarter moons, or also called waning half moon. So, there's a lot, sort of an additional amount of energy. The first one was in Aries and now Taurus. Okay, now this last quarter moon, again, it's also called a waning half moon. And during this July 2021 cycle, the decreasing half moon occurs while transiting through the third mansion of the moon at 1:16 p.m. We're using universal time coordinated, and we're using tropical astrology. Now, Lunar's activation of lunar mansion number 3 during this waning half moon at 50% light is potent for performing receptive magic spells and rituals. Mansion of the moon number 3 is in effect from the mid-morning of July 30th at 11:36 a.m. until early the afternoon the next day on the 31st at 1:17 p.m. With the waning half moon occurring in the sign of Taurus the Bull at 1:16 p.m., lunar mansion number 3 is magically activated at the exact time of the last quarter moon in Taurus. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Now, Luna will be in Aries at 25 degrees, 42 minutes and 51 seconds to Taurus 8 degrees, 34 minutes and 17 seconds. Those are the parameters from the end part of Aries to the beginning of Taurus. Those are the parameters of this mansion according to Abraham. Now, the star to wish upon inside the third mansion of the moon, the name of the mansion is called Alcyone. The name of the star to wish upon is called Alcyone, that dwells in the Pleiades, or the seven sisters, also called the many little ones, according to Christopher Warnock. Alcyone is also called Eta Tauri. Ask the angel of Eta Tauri, who is named Amixiel, to bring excellent belongings, effects, and properties to you. Sorceresses and sorcerers create representations to bring harmony, adoration, and affection betwixt a husband and a wife, to voyage securely upon the world's oceans, to bring the alchemist's praxis to achievement, especially those operations the alchemist uses that are employed by fire, also to strengthen detention centers so that detainees' internment is fortified, and to pursue wild game in the wilds. To persuade Amixiel to grant you the acquirement of all superior holdings, a rendering of a woman sitting down, raising her right hand and holding it above the top of her head is recommended by Warnock. So you're seeing a lady, lounging in a chair with her hand up like this, or even lounging it on a sofa or on a recliner, lounging with her hand up like this, or in her bed hand, with her hand up like this, is even something that could be used to bring all the good fortune of this mansion. But these particular ancient, the particulars of this ancient image is that of a woman in an expensive chair, kind of sitting like this, So but sometimes people take creative license with it and have her positioned in other ways, and because magic works very well, even when you don't use the exact image, but you use similar things that are similar to the image, because then people aren't so keen to understand that you're actually using the image, in case they're aware of the image, in case they're aware of these images. So that's how it's used in a lot of plays and movies and advertisements, and it's been used in paintings back in the old days, before they had photography. It's been it's been inscribed in things way back ancient times. So these things are very, very old, that are being used, these images. You can find it in the Imperatrix. It's another book that you can get. It's called the Picatrix. Now, if you want to know what Agrippa says about this, Cornelius Agrippa, Henry Cornelius Agrippa, he describes the third lunar mansion as being named Aquamazon or Athore, recommending supplication towards Amixiel to bring auspicious treasures and every richly privileged effect using the icon of a woman who is luxuriously attired, again, raising her arm and hand above her head on the right side, languishing in an expensive chair. Agrippa also reveals that the emblem of the rich, serene, and seated woman just described is made more magically potent if it is shaped inside of a silver ring and having a square bezel. Agrippa then specifies that to further add wealth and luxury to the enchanted talisman, the magician then adds the aromas of musk, sweet-scented lemongrass of Malabar, and the Arabian alhenna. Alhenna of Arabia is also named campfire or camphor, as is spoken of in Song of Solomon 4:13. In the New Heart English Bible, it states, "Your shoots are an orchid of pomegranates, with precious fruits, henna with spikenard plants." I think, no, I just, I said that wrong. I was going to say orchard, and then I changed it to orchid in my mind. Let me say it again. I said orchid instead of orchard. Let me say that again. Song of Solomon 4:13. Again, your shoots are an orchard of pomegranates with precious fruits, henna with spikenard plants. And that's from the New Heart English Bible. Okay, excuse me. Now, according to Kabbalistic lore, Aries is ruled by Mars, while Taurus is ruled by Venus. Aries' birthstone is diamond, with Taurus' birthstone being emerald. So you can use this mansion when the moon is in these specific portions that we mentioned earlier of Aries, or as in this case, in this specific portion of Taurus for this specific mansion. This mansion, there's two times that the moon can be it can be in this mansion when it's in Aries, but it can also be in this mansion when it's in Taurus, when the numbers add up, when the coordinates are those for either in the end part of Taurus or the beginning portion when the moon is full, when it's in those portions of or Aries or Taurus, Aries and then Taurus. So just understand that, and we give you all the information you need, for either of those. But right now we're going to focus on Taurus because that's the one we're in at this point. Now, this isn't a full moon. Again, this is a last quarter moon, but you understand what I mean. Now, rosaries and amulets using emeralds for Taurus, and we're talking about Taurus because that's where this particular waning half moon is. So rosaries and amulets or magical jewelry using emeralds for Taurus are magically potent for this praxis. Kabbalistic and alchemical planetary associations, in this instance of a waning half moon in Taurus, while transiting through lunar mansion number 3, could be utilized with perfumes, essential oils, herbs, or flowers, as well as colors that are associated with Taurus. Now, we are focusing again on the emeralds for the beads and the gemstones for the beads or for the gem or the gemstones for the amulets and for the jewelry or also for the rosaries. We're giving you to use emerald for this mansion, and also for the metal we're going to give you some specifics here. Now, planetary alchemical metals in this case would indicate copper for Venus. Copper is both practical and workable for this operation. Regarding the Taurus birthstone of emerald, this could be used for an amulet talisman, as we mentioned, as well as rosary beads. Emerald, that would be beautiful. And copper could also be used for the forming of a rosary chain, for shaping the base of an amulet, or copper for the setting for the magically intended jewelry, for a bracelet or a necklace or or some kind of ring, if you want to use a magical ring. Magical rings are very good. I use a lot of magical rings. Yeah? Okay. Now, it's important to note here that according to Vivian Irwin Robson, author of the book The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, the Greek astronomer Ptolemy attributes the stars which make up the Pleiades found in the shoulder of the bull as being attributed to the planets of Luna, or the moon, and Mars, in regard to the planetary nature of this area of the constellation of Taurus the bull. This is in contrast to the other portions of the body of the bull, where Ptolemy assigns differing planetary aspects. Since Ptolemy attributes the stars located in the Pleiades forming the shoulder of the bull to be associated with the planets Luna and Mars, and since Luna, or the moon, is alchemically associated with the metal of silver, which is workable for this operation, this would be a magically realistic choice to utilize when fashioning a rosary chain or a metal support, which could then attach emerald beads or sigils or gemstones respectively. So emerald and silver, how beautiful would that be? Emeralds with silver for a beautiful rosary or a beautiful amulet or any kind of jewelry, necklace, or bracelet or rings. Silver is also the metal silver is also the metal which Agrippa discloses as being suitable for fashioning the magical insignia possessing the figure of an affluent woman tranquilly sitting in her chair, exhibiting her right hand position atop her cranium. Silver is therefore the alchemical metal of choice for this practice, reclining. She's going to be reclining, with her hand like this. That's the image. And you put that image in silver, and since he said that, you could use silver for your rosary chain, your amulet base, your jewelry setting, for your rings, your necklaces, and your bracelets. Now, keep in mind that the number assigned to each mansion of the moon may vary, reliant upon both the cultural and the astrological attributes of the system being used. What pinpoints the exact lunar mansion to which we are referring is made clear by the use of the star to be wished upon, as well as by the name of the indicated mansion of the moon. Other Kabbalistic correspondences for lunar mansion number 3 are as follows. The moon in Taurus provides qualities of decisiveness, determination, passion, wildness, and spiritual sanctuary. Also said to be seekers and obtainers of creature comforts regarding their instinctive nature. Planetary, alchemical metals, as we said, for Venus are copper, but the archangel for Luna, or the moon, is Gabriel, known as God is my strength, or power of God, and a messenger of God. Zodiac angel for Taurus, the angel for Taurus is Asmodel, whose divine tone is I have. Tarot card for Luna or the moon is the High Priestess, and the High Priestess card is associated with the letter Gimel, meaning camel, pathway to the higher self. And this tarot card is the key to Psalm 119, and you go down Aleph, Beth, Gimel. Most Bibles, not all, but most will have Aleph, Beth, Gimel, and all the Hebrew letters, all 22. This is the third one, Gimel, which means camel. And you read that in 119, Gimel, and you get the verse that's associated with this card. This card is the key, and the book of Psalms really is the lock, because each of the tarot cards, the 22 major arcana, are associated with the Hebrew letter, which unlocks the 22 Hebrew letters in Psalm 119. In most Bibles, it will say Aleph, Beth, Gimel, Daleth, on and on. Yeah? Okay, now, the High Priestess card sits between the pillars of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, between the pillars of Joachim and Boaz. She holds the Torah scroll in her hands, and she has the cross upon her chest. The crescent moon is the receptive crescent moon, receives the waters of the consciousness of God flowing through and into the crescent moon. And she has a triple moon goddess crown upon her head and the pomegranates behind her. The High Priestess card associated with the moon. Now, the Western Array musical note for the moon or Luna is F. The note is F. I'm going to play that for you now. The healing note The note is F for the moon, for Luna, for the High Priestess card. And the tarot card for Taurus, for the sign of Taurus, is the Hierophant card. Now, the Hierophant card, he has his altar priests with him to help him. He has this cross in his hand, and he's given, the sign that Jesus often gives. It's kind of a sign of, it's really it's kind of a sign of mercy. I believe it's a sign of mercy from Rome, I believe, where they, when they want to tap out in the gladiators, they would give this sign that would mean I give up. It's sort of a priest doesn't, a Christian priest or a Catholic priest doesn't really have, well, I'm going to, take this sword and kill you. That's something a warrior would do. But a priest would have the symbol of giving up. I give up. You win. But in his other hand, he does have a cross, and crosses are often associated with swords. So he sort of has the pillars of the temple of Yakim and Boaz, the pillars in Kabbalah, mercy and severity, and this side being mercy and this side being severity. He has those two pillars. You notice he's sitting between two pillars of the temple. You notice that. So it's the same motif as the High Priestess card, as you can see. Okay. Now, the Western Array musical note for Taurus is E. E, and we're going to play that for you now. So the healing note for Taurus and for the Hierophant card is E. All right. Now the information that's in the attached document in the description box, you click on that, it brings you to the blog. It will give you how the names are spelled, all these words and names of things, how they're spelled, and the pages for this particular video that is the information on the blog that's the same is in the description box, okay? So you can click on it, it's in the blog. So the information that's also in this video and in the blog is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I've committed to memory. Much of the information about star magic was also taught to me through the adjacent, it was an adjacent German pagan coven, which I had been in a coven that was associated with it. They had established satellite covens all throughout the world. I was in an American coven. And I began writing a book based upon these extremely important teachings in 1988, which I have entitled to be my Star Magic Grimoire. Some of the reference books that I'm going to give you, some source books, but you might want to use if you're interested in this type of information, if you're interested in star magic. Number one, Mansions of the Moon. It has the ephemeris. You got to have it. Mansions of the Moon, a lunar zodiac for astrology and magic, second edition, with 2019 to 2033 Mansion Ephemeris, written by Christopher Warnock in 2019, illustrated by Nigel Jackson, and published by Renaissance Astrology 2019. The second book would be 3 books of occult philosophy, Llewellyn Sourcebook series, authored by Henry Cornelius Agrippa of Nettisham, 1533, translated by James Freak in 1650, edited and annotated by Donald Tyson in 1993. Donald Tyson is one of my favorite authors. He has a book, Tetragrammaton, which I recommend, and he has another book, The New Magus, which I recommend to you as well. This book, 3 books of occult philosophy by Henry Cornelius Agrippa, was published in 2000 by Llewellyn Publications. This one that was edited and annotated by Donald Tyson. Thirdly, The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, authored by Vivian E. Robson, Bachelor of Science in 1923, published by American Federation of Astrologers, Inc., cover design by Jack Coppola. That's, if you want to really kind of research the star magic, the stars are so interesting, and the lunar mansions, and have your ephemeris. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us, and please join us again next time.